Yes, now. Bless now. Don't forget the rest. Now, there's Rocksteady at King of the Pit TV. Bruh, I've been talking nonsense in between my listening of this record and real life. My mate started getting into Shock Troops by Cocksparrow. Arguably, what I experienced on this channel. My favourite punk rock record of all time. Bro! So good. But we just listened to Cannibal Corpse, The Bleeding. And that's the fourth record, the fourth LP by Cannibal Corpse. Not so long after listening to Tomb of the Mutilated. So we've got a lot to compare and contrast. Chris Barnes on the front line. Which I was surprised of, because I thought we were going from Tomb of the Mutilated to Vile, which is Corpse Grinder. I've got a lot of high hopes for that, because my mate, who I was speaking on Shock Troops about, believe it or not, was like saying, bruh, Vile is like the best record Cannibal Corpse have ever put out. Like, Corpse Grinder had a lot to prove, and he puts a great record into that. So that's going to be exciting. But this was The Bleeding, and it was a good record. 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 Was it better than Tomb of the Mutilated? No. But, now there's no buts. It was not as good as Tomb of the Mutilated. The Bleeding was a good record, nonetheless. But in comparison to what came before, it's a shame, really, because you want to experience progression from Axe. I didn't feel a progression. The production was different. The vocal approach was different. We went from a more brutal, just like undecipherable, guttural approach to things. I said in that record listening that I approached that record in like more of a brutal death metal sense than a traditional death metal sense, down to the vocal guttural gurgles. Disgusting. Me personally, I like that sort of stuff. I love that sort of stuff. That stuff sells me more than the traditional death metal stuff. This, a little more decipherable, which isn't a problem. To pay attention to the lyrical content adds a new depth to the listening experience. But nah, it didn't compare. So from the get-go, I'm gonna give you a rating. You can leave right now if you want. I'll give you a rating. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. I gave the last record an 8 out of 10. This is 7 out of 10. It's a good record. It's a good rating for me. It's not as good as Tomb of the Mutilated. No doubt. Production was good. Bass lines were good. There wasn't enough time to shine for the bass guitarist, to be honest with you, because the bassist has a lot of good fills, a lot of good noodles from time to time. Not as many in this record as there was prior, and I think there should be more and more. I think they should incorporate it, because on the music video, the first track, entitled Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead, one of the guitarists has a Black Flag sticker and a Slapshot sticker. So if you're into roots hardcore punk, there's a lot of bass guitar presence there. The bass guitarist is as important as the actual guitarist, the 6-string guitarist. So why they didn't allow the, death metal guitarist to noodle enough? Bass guitarist to noodle enough? I've been drinking, people. If you just join me on this review, I've been drinking. I was drinking through the whole record, mate. It's the weekend. Give me a break. So Sluttering and Buttling along. There needed to be more bass guitar presence. In the mix, the bass guitar was prominent. High ends, mid ends, if that's what you would want to call it. There was a good rattle to the bass. The bass was present, but I'd like to hear more bass solo sections. Not as like a literal solo, but as a bridge or an introduction or an outro. It would be pristine. It would have really suited this record. I've come into this record understanding track number 3, Stripped, Graped and Strangled. That's a record I knew like beyond a decade back, because the vocal line was fantastic. Really good, catchy chorus. I remembered, I didn't remember the lyrics, but I remembered so many of the lyrics up until this day, which goes to show, it's an important tune because I've listened to so much music. So for that to be a thing, that's important. I've never been to death metal head, and I still remembered that. So with that being said, that's a great track. Drumming is great. I love the, it's not just noise for noise sake. There is an element of rhythm and melodic value to the band that your general outsider world won't pay attention to, but somebody who's involved themselves in extreme music for so long, they will know. This is a true death metal band, a true extreme metal band, but they don't flirt across the line of being too extreme, instrumentally speaking. They are moshable, and that's very important. So with that being said, that's all I've got to say. We're going to check the record on Wikipedia next, see if there's any important factoids there what we've not paid attention to, any room for discussion, and we'll go from there. I'll see you there, people. Peace out. Bye-bye.